It's episode 1017, and this is a Relevant Podcast here in Orlando. I'm your host, Cameron Strang. Joining me from Loverland, Virginia is Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, Tennessee, artist, producer, and mogul, Derek Miner.
What's happening?
And Tardy, joining us late today, downtown Emily Brown. She's racing to get a new mic, so she'll join us by the buzz. But I was like, the show must go on, Emily. We're going full steam ahead, but she'll join us here in a minute. A little bit of updates, a couple updates there, Jesse and Derek. There's a hurricane outside my house right now.
Again?
Like, literally, there's a hurricane hitting Orlando as we speak. Literally, I can open my window. It's Florida.
The last hurricane, Cameron, you said hurricanes never come to Orlando.
Never come to Orlando. Yeah, they always die off by the time they hit the land. And that is true. It hit the coast as a hurricane, and it's not a hurricane anymore right now. It's a tropical storm. It died down, but it's hitting my house as we speak. So if I go away, send help.
I wasn't even I feel like last time the whole country was like, man, Florida's about to get by a hurricane. We have so much going on right now that people are like, we can't get this.
And it's a nothing hurricane. This is a hurricane where like locals are like, whatever.
The country can only handle so much big news at one time. We got midterms going on. We got the Avatar trailer just dropped. We can only handle so much right now, people. Okay,
Black
we
Panther
cannot
coming out this weekend.
Yeah, we can't overwhelm the system here, okay? We got football and basketball happening at the same time. There's a lot cooking. We can't worry about weather right now.
Florida could get leveled or go into the ocean, and the rest of y'all would be fine and just keep moving on like nothing happened. We know.
Nah, y'all got Disney World, bruh. Nah, you can't. Florida can't. We can't lose Disney World, bruh.
The other thing, I have some family, Cameron. You know, you guys know this in Orlando, and my wife was texting her sister and my mother-in-law about this hurricane. You know, and it was going to affect some potential travel and holiday things coming up, and you know how it is. Anyway, my wife was telling me she had, and this hurricane's name is Nicole. And my wife, responded to the thread, "Ugh, Nicole, so annoying." And my mother-in-law thought she was like, "I think this was the wrong thread. I think you were talking about your friend Nicole," like as if, there's some other text thread where Dana's just burning this girl Nicole down when it's actually just the name of the hurricane. Usually, though, I like hurricanes have like an exotic twist to the name, so you know it's a hurricane, because I feel like this is a big problem. Nicole is too common of a name. It's like if you had a hurricane named Matt, and you're like, "Hey, Matt's coming."
Hurricane Bob. Like,
yeah,
what?
And it's like, Matt's coming over? No, it's Nicole. They should have common names off the table, because this kind of confusion is probably happening all over the country right now.
Yeah. The way locals, know if it's a real storm or not is if Disney closes, because Disney never closes. Like, I've literally been at Disney on days when hurricanes hit, because it's the perfect day to go. It's nice and cool. Nobody's there. There's no lines, so the severity of the storm is Disney open or not? Disney is closed today. So maybe I should take it a little bit more seriously than I am. But for now, we're just podcasting.
Don't worry. The rest of the country isn't. Not only is it not taking it seriously, the rest of the country doesn't even know this is happening. Like
exactly.
It's just the news. Like I said, they're like, we're at capacity, guys. It doesn't matter what happens here. We're not reporting anything. We cannot.
Derek, you got out just in time. You got out just in time, came down for the game and then got right out of here right before Nicole showed up. Good time.
I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't going to come. If there was a threat of a hurricane, I wasn't coming down there, bro. So it wasn't even going, I'm not going to get trapped like that, bro. For real. So
I do have a question about, I intended to watch the Golden State Magic game that you guys attended. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, I was once again at the Little League field, which for a brief time had taken over my life.
Getting pounded by
bullied.
The eighth graders.
And try fourth graders, okay? They're even more savage. Their moral compass has not developed yet. Okay? These children have no feelings. It's an age of, about half of fourth graders are basically sociopaths at this point. That moral, those social filters for a lot of for a lot of fourth graders, not all of them, for a lot of them, don't kick in until about 6th, 7th grade. Okay. They're just savages. But either way, I missed the game, but I kept looking at the score and I saw it was very tight, and the Magic ended up pulling out a victory against the Golden State Warriors. And
1 point.
This was, I saw it was a very close game. And and the Magic have had a lot of injury problems. They're
nobody's playing for the Magic that got contracts. It's all like janitors and trainers and high school kids. It's like high school kids.
Yeah, exactly. Like Orlando's out there basically saying, we're going to try to get one more lottery pick out of this. Okay. It's like there's this great Australia. Where's that kid from? Australia? France this year. It's we can see what they're doing. That's fine. 3D chess. I get it. And then Golden State comes in and they got to win. Their window is closing. They got to win now. They still have a bunch of superstars, but they got to win.
They're at full strength. They're at full strength. They have no injuries. That game, Steph had 39 points. Like, nobody played bad.
And Orlando won. And so I couldn't help but theorize, as I was getting bullied by fourth graders, what bullying was happening courtside of the Magic game to cause Golden State not to be able to pull this out. Derek, I feel like Cameron's going to give me a biased take here. What psychological mind game was he playing during this game that caused this collapse?
I'm not even gonna lie. Cameron was really tame.
But here's why.
Oh, why?
Here's why. Steph Curry is the one player that I don't want to mess with because he told me, there was a game in we have beat the Warriors 5 years in a row in Orlando. Okay. I don't know why. It's just a weird glitch. In 2017, the last time they won, we were up. We were bad, okay? We were terrible. One of the worst teams in the league. We were up against the defending champs in the dynasty era, okay? It was like late in the third quarter. Steph had like 11 points. We were up 18. I mean, and so I'm heckling self-deprecating humor at the Warriors. Y'all are about to lose to the Orlando Magic. How embarrassing for you, stuff like that, right? And all of a sudden, you could just see Steph goes, dink, and he's like, we're going to win now. And he ended up with 50 points. We lost by 11. It was the most beautiful basketball I'd ever seen in my life, and it shut me up. I met him the next year, and I said, hey, remember last year there was this, this happened? He goes, yeah, I remember. And I go, man, that was just an unbelievable thing. He goes, I remember that game. I remember you. He goes, that was you? And he looked me dead in the eye and he goes, you single-handedly caused your team to lose. Because he was so annoyed with me, he wanted to shut me up.
Jesse, listen, bro. This dude was so distraught and traumatized from that last experience. He's like, all right, here he goes. All right, Steph's about to cut it on. Oh, my gosh. He
had 39 points. He had 39 points. I was I don't want to mess with him.
This dude was terrified, Jesse.
I was.
You know what it is? It's like there's been all these political, pontificators who've, kind of retrospectively looked back at the last 8 years in America. And they have pointed to a moment at the White House Correspondents' Dinner where President Obama was president and kind of teased, Donald Trump was in attendance and Obama was, relatively playfully teasing him about, hey, you'll never be president. And everyone in the room is laughing except him. And what did he do? Right. He dropped everything that night and started his run for president. Now, I'm not making comments, I'm not getting into political talk here. I'm just saying there's certain bears that you poke and they don't let it go. They do not let it go. Like
most guys, I can figure out. I know the guys that if I kind of heckle them and I'm making jokes and everything I'm saying is just to make everybody laugh. So if I know the guys that can't take a joke and they get frustrated and they get in their head and it works against them. Steph, if you heckle Steph, and if he gets truly annoyed with you to shut you up, he will just completely dominate your team and make you go home sad. That's how he gets his revenge. And so I wasn't going to say a word at the game with Derek.
When I tell you that this man was scared, Jesse, I've never seen, he's like, look, it was like, he's like rocking back and forth like this. Oh my God, he's going to do it. He's about to cut it on. Watch. Oh my God. He's like rocking back and forth, bro. Like it was hilarious.
5 seconds left in the game. We're up by 1 point. Warriors have the ball on their side of the court, call the timeout. So they full strength. Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, all of them are out there. Okay. With the ball, the best shooters of all time, the Magic are up 1. Who's going to win? Of course, I've been down this road how many times as a Magic fan. So I just know I'm just bracing myself for the heartbreak. I'm not up standing cheering like everybody else. And then the Klay Thompson misses at the buzzer and we won. And I'm telling you, the celebration, the dance that I did, that Derek embarrassingly got on video, or
no. ESPN got it on video.
That's right.
We just watched it that night. So
that's right.
All the swag went out the window. Like all the sauce. Cam has this like cool little like vibe, like this sauce gone. This man turned into a 50-year-old white guy. He's not 50. He aged himself like 10 years. And he's like, he went to the future and turned into a 50-year-old white guy.
Here's the thing. Man. Nobody wants to be David Wallace blowing off Michael Scott's phone call. And all of a sudden he's out there starting Michael Scott Paper Company. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just like you don't antagonize people. You don't provoke them, or they're going to come for you. That's the moral of this. You got to know when to hold them. Sometimes,
Yeah, no. The guys who get flustered, bring it on. But guys like Steph, won't touch them. I'm just going to sit back and observe the game. Yeah. That's it. All right. We have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, Kristian Stanfill from Passion joins us. You don't want to miss that. Also, we have your feedback at the end of the show. But stay tuned right now. Emily is ready. She's here. She has a mic in hand, and she'll be joining us for Relevant Buzz.
I don't want to be alone, left alone. Don't want to be the one hanging on the phone. But there I go. I can't stop. The trouble with this bed is
listening to Beach Weather. The song is Trouble with This Bed. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents. Surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold.
Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Please welcome to the show with a tardy pass, our very own downtown Emily Brown, to tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week. Hey, Emily.
Hey, y'all. Sorry I was late. My bad.
No, it happens. Let me ask you this, Emily. Growing up, were you the type that would frequent, like in school? I'm not talking about professionally. I feel like we're all we're solid professionals here. But in school, were you the one who would sneak in a little late? Did you have some tardy check marks in the column?
I never was the one that snuck in late, but I would sneak in like right as the bell was ringing. Like I would wait until the truly last possible second, but I would not be considered late. I was just I was incredibly on time.
That's the most stressful, though.
I kind of like to live life on the edge.
You have an infinite amount of time to be early, and then you have a split second where you're on time, and then you have an infinite amount of time to be late. You pick the one little split second to be there.
Also, in my defense, my high school was kind of big, and like the structure of it did not make sense. So we had, I think, maybe 5 minutes in between classes, and I would be bopping back and forth. So it was not just me, it was the world working against me.
I'll say this, I take it back. Do you know one place I've never been early for in my adult life? And I'm not saying this, I'm not saying I'm proud of it. I don't even know I've never walked into church when the music's not already playing. I don't even know how these things kick off. All I know is when I arrive, they're already singing, and I just kind of mosey in, and people don't know, like people are standing and singing and like, coming back from getting coffee, right? I don't even know how church services kick off. I cannot remember the last time I've been at one before it is actual start time. So I feel you, Emily. I feel you.
I remember I went to church and got there 10 minutes early for some reason and saw the pre-service video for the first time and had the same thought that you did. I was like, oh, this is what they do before this music starts. I didn't know.
Is it like a countdown or something? Like 10,
like 9, NFL Red Zone on Sunday afternoon?
Not like that. No, it's just like, church community videos, maybe some updates, some announcements type thing. Just priming the pump, getting everybody.
They got to save that.
See, that is not my church experience. That is okay. That is churches with money.
So what was your church before the service? Just everybody sits there, they're waiting?
Everybody,
just, like,
we
quietly?
literally just crack jokes on one another for like 10 minutes straight. Talking about sister so-and-so's hat. But this, we as kids though, so maybe, it really was just that. And the next thing you know, you see the drummer and the bass player walk in, and that's when it's about that time. You know what I mean?
I feel like there needs to be a formal, that's too much of a glide in, right? Maybe like, the drummer's like hitting the cymbals, or you hear like a little tune up or something. We don't need that. I feel like there needs to be a formal start to the service, either like a big goblet, like you ting on the side of a glass, ting, 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 like you're giving a wedding toast. You know what'd be cool? A gong, like a big gong, 3 strikes of a gong, and then the service starts. I just feel like more formal. But if they had something like that, I'd probably show up. But if I'm going to hear them tuning their guitars and stuff, I'll show up.
So wait a second. You say you would be early to church if they hit a gong.
Oh, I wouldn't want to miss the formal kickoff, is what I'm saying. Like, that would be part of the fun. Like, no, this is real talk, Cameron. You're never late for a Magic game. Why? Because the official kickoff they make really special. There's fireworks. They get everybody pumped up. It would be just as logical to come in 30 seconds in the game. You're not going to miss anything if you showed up right when the referee's about to tip the ball off, right?
Yeah.
But that's my problem is with the church services, it's too much guitar tuning and mic checking and do some guy hitting the snake.
How do you know? You're not there. How do you know? You're assuming.
That's what I'm assuming. Okay. But I'm assuming what they don't have is a cool kickoff with a gong.
Look, so what you want them to do is play the 96 Bulls intro music. From
the Theological Seminary of North Carolina, Pastor.
I feel like that's a Righteous Gemstones, how they actually do it.
Yes, that's definitely Righteous Gemstones, bro.
And you know what? Their church kind of looks fun and awesome. So,
real talk.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, dude, I could see why they're popular and why people go. Like, it looks like a very entertaining experience, despite their criminality.
All right, Emily, what's going on this week?
Okay, I want to start off with some Gen Z news. We have good and bad news. I'll kick it off with the bad news so we can end on the good news. The bad news is Gen Z is struggling. There's a new report that came out that 42% of all Gen Z are struggling with at least one mental health condition. So that's 2 out of every 5 Gen Z Zoomers are struggling with depression, anxiety, PTSD, just a wide variety of it. And a lot of it started during the pandemic. And kids thankfully are seeking help, but it is just an overwhelming amount that, that's almost 50%. Like, that's almost half of all Gen Z is struggling. And I've heard it said before, like, this generation is struggling the most with mental health, but hearing a number like that, it just really puts it into perspective for me, like how many kids are actually struggling with it.
Emily, I read this article that you wrote, and it was interesting to me. Like the study showed that, 42%, like you said, have a diagnosed mental health condition. And like you said, it started during the pandemic. But then it also said that they found that 57% take prescription medication for mental health. And I'm going, how do you have prescriptions for mental health if you aren't diagnosed with mental health? How is the prescription number almost 60% and the diagnosed 40%? I didn't get
how
that.
you think pills get out in the street? It's a lot of doctors that prescribe a pill to anybody, or it's a lot of you could get them in the streets. Like this is I don't know what to say here, but I will say that we got to figure, because my wife is a pharmacist. We got to figure out this pharmacy system. We got to figure out, because it's capitalism in this area is not necessarily benefiting society as a whole, right? It's there's a time and place for mental health drugs, but I mean, I know people that got Adderall, and you like, there's no way that you should have this at all. I don't even know how you got it. You know what I mean? There's a crisis for real. It's been a crisis in the Black community, but it's now that's the problem. We're only as strong as our, I don't want to call Black people the weakest link, but the most underserved link. And eventually those problems begin to spill over into the rest of the world. And now, man, it's kids that's hooked on drugs, prescription drugs at like 14, 15 years old, or either, their buddy is using it, and then they're like, man, well, hey, I struggle with that too, man. Here, take some of my Adderall. You know what I mean? So we got a drug crisis.
Because I guess in this situation, a kid could tell his doctor, I'm having trouble focusing at school, and he'll write a prescription for an ADHD medication. And so that kid could get a prescription, but that's separate from the diagnosed mental health disorders that this study was just, so it's easy to get drugs from your doctor is what you're saying.
So easy, man. I know a person that even this person is diagnosed, but when you talk to the person, they say, yeah, I just go in and the prescription is already written out. Like they just pull it off, give it to them. How you doing? Wow. Still struggling? Okay, cool. Here you go. Take it. You know what I mean? And that's scary, y'all. Like, I mean, that is really scary that this guy has prescriptions for Adderall written out and he just gives them away at will. And his perspective, I'm assuming, is just like, hey, if people want it, I might as well make some money off of it. Sad.
I think everything you said is so true. Like, I feel like even kids, it's one thing too that, maybe they're talking to a friend who struggles with depression and they're like, oh, well, these, this helped me, here, try it out. I think I don't know. It's just really interesting the way that, like you said, like there's more medication than there is actual diagnosis. And I think that does need to be addressed and that needs to be specified. Cause I think that medicine is great, but I also think there is a danger of just giving kids medicine right away as soon as they say, 3 symptoms of depression. And it's like, maybe you actually should try something else, or there's other options than just medicating right away. So
medicate them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, there's sort of the diagnosis and the medical side, but then there's also okay, well, what unique social pressures has this generation experienced that others haven't? That if they're seeing this, like I said, obviously you can look at, I'm sure there's some sort of correlative thing between just the deeper understanding of mental health conditions and the likelihood that they're diagnosed. But the other issue is like, this is really the first generation that never didn't know the internet and never didn't know, even, a lot of most millennials remember when the internet came to their house, right? Like, or have a recollection of not owning an iPhone or not, of MySpace, being a thing and the advent of social media. This is really the first generation that has never known life without it. It's the only generation that has gone through a pandemic as adolescents, not adults. Like there's all these other factors that I think are worthy of being looked at in addition to kind of the medical end, that what are the, like I said, kind of unique social forces and pressures that this generation has felt that others haven't, and what are ways that we can kind of address those as well, like treating, in other words, treating the kind of the source of the illness, not just kind of the symptoms of it,
Right. Deleting the triggers, the things that are triggering people's mental illness. Right.
So Emily, you said there was good news.
Yes. So
as well,
like we've been saying, there's a lot of things that especially Gen Z has been dealing with, and that is unique to them. And what is exciting is now, thanks to the most recent election, there's officially a Gen Z in Congress. And he has talked about wanting to address a lot of those issues. Specifically, gun reform is the big one that he was talking about. But his name's Maxwell Frost. He's actually from...
Where's he from?
From Orlando, which is, I'm sure, exciting for Cam. But yeah, so it's interesting. He's 25 years old.
When you look at the state of Florida, it's all red, and then there's a little blue dot right in the middle of the state. That's Orlando.
Yeah, and that's Maxwell Frost.
He's a Democrat.
New representation. So he'll be in the House of Representatives. He's 25. The average age of the House member is 58.
Oh, 82. 82. That's the wrong stat, Emily. It's 82.
That might be close. Well, again, the average is 58. So, so he's definitely going to be facing some interesting opponents, but just from what I've seen during his campaign, he seems excited to take on change and to introduce new ideas. And like we said, introduce maybe some policies or reforms that would help things that are specifically affecting Gen Z. So I'm excited to see kind of what he brings, and to just really, he's the first of the next generation. So it's interesting to see what he's going to bring.
He said after he won, he's like, I've been campaigning for the last year to celebrate. Tomorrow night, I'm going to the 1975 concert downtown. So
that's dope.
He's going to be there tonight.
Yeah.
That's
very
dope.
Gen Z.
He's a good candidate.
Chuck Grassley was at that show, I think, right up front. He's big fan.
Can you believe he just got elected to another 6 years and he's 89 years old? Like, what
they
in the
said
world?
this man was alive before the chocolate chip cookie was invented. What?
I saw that.
Can you imagine life without a chocolate chip cookie? Like, he lived that. I don't get it.
No.
He lived through that.
No.
Yeah, ironically, he turned 80 in the year 1975. That's the crazy part. But he also likes the band.
Did you see, I mean, we're not going to talk politics, whatever. After this, the big red wave that was expected didn't happen. And all the conservative pundits were bemoaning the demographic shift in that a lot of young adults, 18 to 30, really turned out to the polls. And that's why, and they didn't know it in the pre-poll, kind of surveys, because think about how they do survey. Mm-hmm. They call a number. Mm-hmm. What under 40-year-old do you know that's going to pick up their phone from an unknown number? So this entire demographic was not polled. And so everybody was shocked at the turnout. I saw a pundit tweet. They're so mad. They said, it is factual that the human brain does not fully form until you're 25 years old. We need to raise the voting age to 21 as a minimum.
No.
Because they're saying they're voting Democrat, and it's because their brains haven't developed yet. That's literally what she said.
I was going to say a side note to this is, man, I'm proud of the Gen Zers, because one thing that the pandemic, although it did slow the world down, I see more like intelligent conversation from Gen Zers. Like, they've had a chance to being in a pandemic, seeing all of this crazy stuff, and they really had a chance to slow down and get educated to a degree about politics and want to take the bull by the horns and be a part way more than I did when I was in, 20 and 21, 20, 23, 24, 25. Like I see the fire in them to say, like, this is my country. Like, I want to definitely participate. So I think if there's anything from the pandemic that we could say was a benefit, I think that's a benefit, that an unintended consequence is that these young people really tapped into politics, because that's all they could watch. It was an election year, that's all they could watch.
I mean, I totally, one of the most compelling arguments I heard on any social issue this year was, from a Gen Zer. And, now they were doing a choreographed dance to Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero while they were explaining it. And it was just captions on the screen. But still, wow. I mean, it changed my mind. It moved the needle. And now I want to learn some of those moves to that Taylor Swift song. So,
but I mean, like for me, I'm like, yeah, end of the day, old people get it wrong too. Like, we gotta give Gen Z a space to be able to be right and wrong and do goofy stuff. But at least they even care. Like, I did not care, bro. All I wanted to do is play Xbox and write raps. They playing Xbox, writing raps, running for Senate, like voting.
That is true. Like, I can't even remember at what age I had any awareness of, what any like political parties, any sort of like, political position. Like, I honestly don't think it was till not even in late in college that I may have even cared at all, or even was aware of at all. I mean, these kids today seem to have, be political advocates at like 13 years old. It's pretty impressive.
Well, their brains aren't formed, and we need to raise the voting age. That'll solve it.
That's hilarious.
There's a lot more where that came from. Go check relevantmagazine.com for the latest. We're covering the intersection of faith, life, culture. Hey, check us on IG too. We're posting a lot more there now. Thanks, Emily. All right, stay tuned. Up next, Kristian Stanfill joins us.
Was it a dream? Didn't we believe? I just wanna put my heart in your hands again. Was it a dream? Were you weak to me? I wanna believe we were more than just pretend. Was it I'm on my own.
You're listening to Maris. The song is Was It a Dream? Was it?
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times best-selling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose the Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold.
Well, today's guest is Kristian Stanfill. He's a worship leader with Passion, who has also just released a brand new album, Make It Out Alive. He sat down with our very own downtown Emily Brown to discuss how he was able to find freedom in a difficult season and how vulnerability is the key to change. Here's our conversation with Kristian Stanfill.
Leave me where the river runs.
to talk to you about your new album that's about to come out. How do you feel about that?
I feel really peaceful this week. You know, it's definitely a pretty vulnerable project. There's a lot of honesty in the songwriting, and you know, really trying to let people in to, you know, our journey over the last couple of years. I feel like everyone's had their own version of, you know, the last couple of years has just been such a wild card for everybody, you know, and it affected everybody in different ways. So this is just our way of letting people in to our story, and hopefully, you know, our vulnerability could help somebody else be honest and maybe help them heal too. So yeah, I'm really excited for people to hear it, excited for it to come out.
Is the love that you have from the ones that know the truth and choose to stay? Great.
You said like vulnerability leading to healing. Did that happen in your life where you were like vulnerable and then you were able to seek healing in some way?
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, a lot of these songs came from, you know, a process of needing to be open and honest about my life and what was going on in my life, opening up to friends and pastors and even counselors. And that's something that for a long time, I was terrified to do, to open my life up to other people. I think a lot of us believe that when and if we open up ourselves to other people and really say, hey, here's what's really going on in my life, we believe that we're going to get shame and judgment if we do that. But the reality is, or at least what I've found, and I think a lot of people find this, is when we open up to people we trust, what we actually get is love and grace. And that's definitely what I found in my life. And so these songs have come from that experience of really opening the door, pulling the curtain back and go, hey, here's what I've been struggling with. I need to tell you about it because I want to get healthy. And in doing that, there was so much freedom and so much hope that came flooding into my life, but also my family's life, my community's life. It's incredible when you open up your life to somebody else, it allows them the freedom to do the same thing with you. And so my honesty and healing became somebody else's honesty and healing, which is a really beautiful way that the kingdom of God works, really beautiful way that the church works. So
that's not you at my lowest, making sure I remember every single failure, all the times I missed the mark.
Are there any songs that you maybe are a little nervous about people hearing because of how honest you are in them?
The first one that comes to mind, there's a song, it's the very last song on the record called Change You. And I sing about some very specific times in my life, moments in my life that I look back on and I realized that really affected me and changed me. I sing about having a conversation with my granddad. I sing about meeting my wife and falling in love with my wife. I sing about holding my son for the first time. You know, all these moments that you look back on, you go, man, that changed me. But then at the very end of the song, the very last verse of the song says that I was sitting down in a hole that I dug out for myself. After years of bad decisions, I was in the pit of hell. But looking up from the bottom, I heard my friends and Jesus say, we're not going to let you stay the same. And I knew I'd never be the same. And so, you know, the first part of the song is all like, oh, he's talking with his granddad and he's falling in love with his wife and he's holding his son. And then you get to the end of the song and I'm singing about the bottom dropping out. And that was mostly self-inflicted, you know, and sitting down in a hole that I had dug for myself. But what I realized, I wasn't there alone. I was surrounded by the grace of God, the people that love me the most. And they said, we love you too much to let you stay this way. So I think that's probably one of the most honest lyrics on the project.
I dug out for myself. After years of bad decisions, I was in the pit of hell. But looking up from the bottom, I heard my friends and Jesus say, We're not gonna let you stay the same.
It's very clear that, this was a whole journey for you. So what was the first step for you in this journey? And how did you start this? And how can someone else start this journey?
For me, it was life kind of forced my hand. So I hit a breaking point, at the end of 2020, and my wife knew it, my friends knew it, and they loved me enough to sit me down and say, hey, you need to get help, and we want to help you do that. So that was sort of like kind of life forcing your hand. But I think I had so many opportunities before that point to reach out. I just didn't have the courage to do that. So I think my encouragement would be to somebody who knows there's no joy in my life. The lights are not on. I'm not happy. I want to change. I would say the first step is to, like we were saying before, find somebody that you trust, that you can reach out to and go, hey, I need to talk to you. I need to be honest with somebody. You're someone that I trust. I need you to know what's happening in my life right now. That would be the first step that I would take.
That was Kristian Stanfill. Make sure to check out his new album, Make It Out Alive. It's available now. All right, stay tuned. Up next, it's your feedback. Listening to Salt with a U. The song is Lion. Okay, it's time for your feedback. Last week, we got talking about the takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk. And, he's making a lot of changes. He's throwing some noodles on the wall. He threw out the little official tags, and 2 hours later they were gone. I mean, like they're just spitballing, and got Jesse, saying, "Hey, I'm morbidly wanting to watch this experiment of a guy leading a $44 billion organization with no game plan. He's just going to wing it and just see what happens." And so we asked you for the question of the week: what do you want to see happen on Twitter? What changes do you want to see the Musk man make? You hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast before we got banned. No, we didn't. And here's a few of our favorites.
So Wendy says the same thing we've only ever wanted, a stinking edit feature. And Wendy, I'm going to tell you, I am a Twitter Blue subscriber and I have an edit feature. So get your blue check.
$8 package.
So, but the thing is, you can't hate Elon and not want to spend the money on Twitter Blue and get the edit feature. You got to pay for it. That's the thing. So,
well, and two, before the $8 one, there was a $4.95 Twitter Blue that's been up for a while that had the edit
that's
feature.
The one I use, the $4.99 one. Yeah, I've been on Twitter Blue.
What happens if I retweet something and then somebody changes it and say something just out insane?
It says edit it under the bottom.
I don't think I want an edit feature.
But still,
say what you say. If you mess up,
it could be rewritten. It could be a totally different tweet.
Is there a way to see what the previous tweet was?
Let me go look at one of my old edited tweets, because I am a person who rush tweets and I never spell things correctly. Like if you just looked at my Twitter, you probably think that I didn't go to high school or college at all. So this is a necessity for me because I don't want to look stupid.
My pinned tweet on my Twitter profile says, if you see typos, no, you didn't. I don't want to hear it. Because I do the same thing on my personal Twitter, not the professional one. Don't worry, Cameron. On my personal one, where I just tweet and then I think about it later. And there's a ton of typos, and I just don't care. Twitter to me is not a real world. So I don't care if it's perfect.
This is someone who's been professionally in the editorial business for many years. We are about a generation away from no one caring about typos. They have become such a part of our life and text messages and Twitter and social media that your mind just filters them out at this point. Like I have I have a theory that copy editors are going to be a thing of the past within a generation, just because we've come so accustomed to sloppy copy. Anyway, Greg said, I would like to take out the infinite scroll. Let's bring back clicking on next page so we can have a better grasp of the time we spend. Listen to this. He brings some scripture into it. He brings some heat right here. The Bible says God, quote, set infinity in the human heart. And he gives a reference to Ecclesiastes 3:11 if you're interested. But I don't think he meant that for scrolling. Well, there's no way to know, Greg. But I did watch an interesting documentary the other night on Netflix about infinity. I don't know if you guys have seen this floating around. If you're looking for just like a mind expanding, it's like they talk to all these mathematicians and physicists about the concept of infinity and how it breaks down in numbers. Fascinating. Like these cool illustrations about the limits of like mathematical limits of infinity, like how far you can deconstruct and reconstruct it, infinities within infinities. And that sounds like an insane concept, but then they explain it in these illustrations. Basically, Cameron, I see your look. Like, okay, so like if you were to break down the numbers between 1 and 10, you could keep halving those numbers forever and ever. Like you could fraction them out forever and ever until you hit a number like pi, which 3.14, and it goes on till infinity. So then you have a number within our numbers that has infinite numbers in them. They've discovered 7 infinite numbers, and we don't know why they're in our numerical system. Like it doesn't break out clean. There has to be infinities in infinities for this whole thing to work. Anyway, they're telling you all this.
Wait, there's 7 pies? There's 7
numbers that go on till infinity, and the
seven's a kind of a god number.
Well, but our numerical system breaks down if there aren't infinite numbers within the infinite numbers, right? Like, so anyway, they explain all this and your mind's getting explained and blown. But there's this one guy, and I feel like at the beginning of the documentary, they show all these clips of them like, and then we discovered that there's actually infinity inside the infinity. And they're giving all these like mind-blowing clips to tease out the documentary. And this one poor guy, this one physicist, they added the worst soundbite ever. He's like, well, if I were to start counting now till the day I died, I would not hit infinity. And then it goes to like the next clip and you're like, well, obviously, bro, why'd they pick that clip? Why are the producers of this documentary making you look like that when everyone else has these big mind expanding things? It's like, yeah, if I were to count for 40 years, I would only get to 40 years worth of numbers. Like,
duh.
Anyway, I felt bad for the guy. That was my main takeaway is why'd you set the guy up like that? Just give him like a cool pull quote.
I like Brendan Spencer's. He says, if we're losing content moderation and verification, or actual verification, then I think we need to pull a YouTube and add a dislike button. Moderation via democratic process of sorts. Plus, what makes chaos more fun, but more chaos is what he said. But I like that. Too. A dislike feature, which would kind of like tell the algorithm that this is hate speech or something, and it diminishes its algorithm reach. I think that's brilliant.
So I saw that Elon said, if you don't got the Twitter verification, it's going to be like posting into a spam folder. So the algorithm is pretty much going to hate you if you're on the free version. And then he also said that there's going to be a verification of the verified, right? So now we're if you're an official person, he said that there may be a thing that they're going to add. And then he also said that you might be able to.
No, they did. And they took it away.
Well, yeah, okay.
They literally, when we're recording, it was yesterday morning. Like all these celebrities and brands had a second line underneath it with another check mark. It said like official or media outlet news or whatever, like it verified. And then literally 2 hours later, it was gone because a guy complained, a verified guy complained. He's like, there's no rhyme or reason to this. Like, why is this person who has less reach than me verified or have the second verification and I don't, and I'm valid verified? And then Elon responded to it and said, I just killed it. And he literally killed it 2 hours
Well, that's how he does it with the Teslas, right? Like, it's like there's a feature that everybody likes. And if he's like, I don't really like this feature anymore, he just deletes it. And then it's just like, all right, he just changes the software at will, or, hey, we want the old software back. And so this is how Twitter is going to be ran, guys. Yay.
It's like those, just, the line between tech genius and just, lunatic. It's like Steve Jobs, like, take the buttons away. What? No buttons. Well, so how's he going to do stuff? No buttons. You guys figure it. It's like, same thing with Elon. He just throwing it out there. It's like, all right, I guess we got to figure this out. We'll see.
All right. Well, there's more where that came from. Go check it out. Okay, it's time for this week's
Editorial question of the week. Hey.
All right. Well, next week is Thanksgiving. We're not gonna go down the route of like the stress of being with your, extended relatives that you argue with over dumb stuff. We're not doing that. We're talking about the meal. Okay. We're bored.
Not
with
only
Thanksgiving.
that,
food.
We eat turkey obligatory. It's an obligation on things.
Yeah.
You don't see if people like turkey, we'd be roasting them all the time. No, we wait till once a year and everyone just powers through. It's a dry, almost flavorless meat. If we're just talking, and there's all these.
Hold on. Now I'm a connoisseur of a good turkey sandwich. Now I'm not even going to hold you.
Deli mold. I'm not talking about sandwiches. Sandwiches you can punch up with mustards and things. I'm talking Thanksgiving. They slice it right off the bird, put it on the plate, and you enjoy this dry, flavorless meat. This isn't a one that we would eat it all the time if it was good. But that goes for the sides too. Everyone that's saying they love Thanksgiving sides, you don't. Why aren't you cooking stuffing once a week? Why aren't you making weird soupy potato inventions? Why aren't they part of normal rotation? It's because we've been conditioned to let's face it, some pretty gross things on Thanksgiving just because it's Thanksgiving.
So the question of the week is, what foods should we normalize to evolve Thanksgiving for the next generation? That's kind of what we want to do. Let's put our own stamp on Thanksgiving. We don't need to inherit our grandparents' spread. Let's do our own and make it way more culinarily interesting. So what foods should we be added?
Man, Jesse, I just feel bad for you Jesse, that your people can't cook, bro, because Thanksgiving lit at my crib, bro. I look forward to it every year.
How many times do you go out to a nice dinner and be like, I'll have a plate of turkey, please? You don't, because restaurants don't serve it because people don't want it. They serve steak and chicken and fish and meats people want. Turkey is telling you, man, it's an obligation. You've been fajitas, cheeseburgers, pizza. That's what people want.
Yeah.
Derek, I'm telling you.
Mac and cheese, the yams, the collard greens with the cornbread, bro, the dressing.
It's
what I'm saying? Listen, bro, I'm just saying, look, just because your spread trash.
A lot of soupy
you
stuff.
just need to, look, bro, Jesse, just come to Nashville. We don't have no soupy nothing in Nashville, bro. Everything we have is
I don't like how
fire.
on Thanksgiving plates, everything's running all into each other. I don't like that. Okay. I think
get the kiddie plate.
They should. I've had this idea.
I hate my food touching.
Thank you. I've had this idea that on they have special plates just for Thanksgiving that partition out the sides, because those last couple bites, you're dragging that piece of turkey through some sweet potato, some gravy, and you're just like,
oh no, that's the ultimate combination is the yams with the mac and cheese. I intentionally mixed them together,
dude,
for that.
Do you really?
Yes.
Okay. So you're a food mixer.
The
You're a side
yams
mixer.
and the mac and cheese go together. They
Derek,
go together.
Do you like take a bite of one side, a bite of another side, a bite of another side, or do you? Well, the way I eat is I eat the entire side, finish it, move on to the next item.
Oh no, we mix all the flavors.
You're a mixer.
All the flavors.
Yeah,
I do that. I do that with all my food. Yeah, all the flavors. The flavors. You got to mix the flavors.
Thanksgiving partition plate that I'm now going to invent. I will make little channels that can be opened up between sides that you can run the juices through. Okay. Like a little
so you get little mini dams. Is what you said.
Exactly.
Like little plate dams.
A lock system.
And you can channel.
I want to mix these two, but not those two.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Partition off like the turkeys and things.
Bro, you take the collard greens, and then you take the cornbread, and then you mix it in there, let it get a little salt, get the cornbread, get a little salt. Man, shoot, what y'all talking about,
you'll
bro?
have a partition for that. But for people who don't want all the juices just intermingling, chaotically on the plate, then we will partition off.
Juice
they
me,
are
baby.
removable.
Juice me.
Okay, the one that messes it up for me is, do y'all have ambrosia salad at y'all's houses? Ambrosia is a fruit salad with melted marshmallows on top. And it is served not as a dessert, but it is served with the other side. And so, like, to me, you're getting some green beans, you're getting some mashed potatoes, and you put a little scoop of ambrosia salad, but that fruit juice, that sweet juice goes and ruins the entire plate. So I'm all in for your plate, Jesse.
I regret to inform you that we don't eat ambrosia salad on my side of the train tracks. I know what you're talking about, though. You talking about the it's like red, and they put like little pineapples in it, right? And the little pineapples in it, and then it's like.
And they don't treat it like a dessert. They treat it like it's a normal side for your plate.
And I bet you at the houses that y'all go to, they put probably, you know what I'm saying, marshmallows on top of the sweet potatoes with some walnuts or something in there.
Not me. Not mine.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, cool.
I grew up Southern. I mean,
no, that's a Southern thing, though. That's a Southern thing. That Southern cooking and soul food is different.
I've had it, but my family doesn't do it.
No, that's true. Yeah. No, I know. But my grandma, we called her Big Mama. I mean, that's the Southern. Right? And so she had like Big Mama and Big Daddy. Big Mama and Big Daddy. And they had 8 kids. And there was always like 40 people at the table. And it was just like a huge family, right? And she cooked like for the whole church every Sunday, basically. And so everything was huge quantities, but they never had money. So she never did the extra stuff like marshmallows and junk like that, you know, because like...
Y'all came from the trenches. That's what's up. Cost factor. Now listen, I will say this though. I'm not hating on the ambrosia salad because I remember going to, you know, some of my white friends' crib as, you know, as a young man, or just like little banquets or whatever, and they have it. And I remember my first time tasting, I was like, yo, this is lit. But I did not know that it was to be eaten as a side. I thought it was like a dessert thing, like a pudding or something like that, you know, like a dessert thing. I didn't know that it was like.
It should be. At least my family, if somebody brings it, it's right in the middle of the mix with all the other sides, buffet style, you know, you're just filling your plate. So it's like right there. It's not like
once again, with my canal system, you can be inventing new side combos throughout the dinner. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty
as long as you don't have green bean casserole, bro. Look, that's the only, to me, that's the biggest L of all Thanksgiving, bro.
This is a polite way, Derek, because of the partition. You're like, yeah, I'll have. You're not gonna offend the aunt who brought that. Yeah, put the green bean casserole right here. And then this is a new idea, I'll have one partition that you specifically target for the foods you don't want, but are going to get on the plate for politeness reasons, the little trapdoor. And it will dump out it will have a hidden compartment that you can clean out after the dinner for the sides you don't want.
The plate is 2 inches thick, but it's a hollow 2 inches, so you can shovel it under. And your answer.
Hey, look, at my crib, if you bring an L, it's gonna be right on the cabinet with no fork, nothing in it. It's just gonna be there, and everybody gonna know like, oh, that's an L. You know what I'm saying?
You could just lower it down. It would be like a storm drain. It would be like a storm drain. You just kind of push it down there.
Listen,
and a new partition is opened up as well.
Thanksgiving and Christmas time at my crib, I don't know about everybody else's crib, but at my crib, it's like the Super Bowl for the aunties and the grannies. Like it's the Super Bowl.
That's why I'm trying not to get feelings hurt here.
It's the Super Bowl. Look, listen though. If you play in the Super Bowl and you don't win the trophy, you just don't win the trophy. That's just what it is. Like ain't nobody finna go over there. It's what it is.
You're on a championship team and you're not as good. You get cut.
It's an L.
You do not.
You got put out the tournament. So if the ambrosia salad or whatever is over on there and ain't nobody put nothing in it, if, you know, hey, sorry, Marsha Ambrosia, you should have left it at the crib. Like you know not to bring this the time. You don't experiment nothing. You got to put your A game, best foot forward. Like when they walk in the house, it's and look, aunties is walking in with their little plates with aluminum foil over the top of it. And look, it's this month like the Hunger Games, bro, for real. Like, hey.
So no participation trophies at that.
No.
Okay.
Look, you already know. You know your trophy is if you go home with an empty dish. If you go home with a full dish, you took an L. It ain't even nothing else to be said. We don't want to get a whooping, so we ain't gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying, that it's trash. But it's always somebody that's gonna be experimenting and see what it tastes like, and then they gonna tell everybody else like, stay away from Aunt Jan's you know what I'm saying, dressing. It's runny. Like, okay.
So I have a question. So Derek, so a lot of people bring stuff. Does anybody in your family like try to mix it up? Like this question of the week, like we want to do a fish this year.
Man, my mama tried to do that one time, dog. One time. And you want to know what happened? That was lunch. We wound up the next day. Look, we wound up the next day doing a whole Thanksgiving feast because then she wanted to do like some salmon and some veggies and stuff. We was like, look, and everybody ate it, but even she was like, this a L, ain't it? Yeah, this a L, mama. And then she got the whipping and the next day we had Thanksgiving the next day because,
I'm just saying, here's the thing. If you showed up at Thanksgiving, okay, anyone on this call, you show up to Thanksgiving, they're like, hey, turkey's not great. No one likes it. So we did a giant plate of ribs, and everyone get as many ribs as you want. Nobody's complaining at that household. Okay.
We got ribs at our Thanksgiving anyway, though.
You got ribs at Thanksgiving? That's pretty. Yeah.
Bro, I'm on the grill, dog. I'm on the grill. They got turkey. We got, man. It's a feast, bro. Like we doing everything, anything that we can afford. That's good. That's what it.
My family did steaks a couple years ago. That was nice. And just not to have turkey. It was fantastic. Hit. I'm the one who cooked them. It was great. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast. Tell us what dishes you would like to evolve the Thanksgiving meal with. Well, before we wrap things up, I want to thank Kristian Stanfill for joining us today. His new album is called Make It Out Alive, and it's out now. Go check it out. Also, head over to relevantmagazine.com to check out our fall issue. It has amazing conversations with MIA, Dayglow, Regina Hall, NT Wright, and much more. Check it out. You can just click on the magazine tab over at relevantmagazine.com. If you're a Relevant Plus subscriber, the link to the new issue is in your account dashboard. All right. Oh, and by the way, if you like the show, if you're listening still at this point, tell people about it. Post it on social. Rate it and review it wherever you listen. We love the feedback. We love seeing the interaction, and it helps the algorithm, helps more people discover it. We appreciate it. All right. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
I'm Derek Miner.
We will see you next time. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
The dry, almost flavorless meat.
Relevant Podcast Network.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.